Hey everybody, DM Gallibond here, and today on Monster Monday, we're going to be looking at the Strixhaven Campus Guide and some homebrew variants that I have created. Now, this was a really fun monster to look at because this monster is not a monster typically that you would ever expect to fight, but it has some very cool and surprising abilities that, if you think about ramped up variants of this creature, could make it a real challenge if, let's say, it ever fell into the wrong hands, like a villain in your campaign. Yes, Dungeon Masters, this is a low-level monster that doesn't seem to have much of any combat capabilities, but I'm going to show you how you can turn it into a sinister and challenging little chestnut for your high-level parties. All right, so the Strixhaven Campus Guide comes to D&D from the Magic the Gathering Strixhaven School of Mages expansion, but there it was published as a card just simply called Campus Guide. And that expansion was released back in 2021. So the creature is a 2 casting cost artifact that can be cast with any color mana, has 2 power, 1 toughness, and 1 special ability. Whenever you play the card, you can search your library for a basic land card, show other players that card, then shuffle your deck and place the land card on top so it will be the next card you draw. Of course, in the complexity of Magic the Gathering, there are many strategies that opponents might use that will benefit them by knowing which card is on top of your library. So it's a help for you if you're running low on land and you need more mana, but it could also potentially help your enemy, or your opponent, I should say. All right, Campus Guide is not featured in any of the official Strixhaven fiction for the Magic expansion, and it fills a role that many creatures and spell cards have filled over the years by allowing you, the player, to search your library for a particular kind of card that might be helpful on your next turn. And the artwork on this card is by Slowomir Maniac. I believe that's how you say that. Slowomir Maniac. All right. The Strixhaven Campus Guide in Dungeons and Dragons in the campaign is mentioned briefly in the introductory section of the campaign, and it does actually appear as an encounter in one of the first year adventures, where the PCs are tasked with seeking evidence in a dean's office after hours. So the Campus Guide acts as sort of a mechanical butler, and it will first tell the PCs to leave if they cannot give it a good reason for being there, where students are not supposed to be after hours. And then if the students refuse to leave, the creature attacks. Now, I'm going to suggest a couple of abilities that the creature would probably use when it attacks, because it just seems kind of strange that they would write it in. Oh, if they don't leave, it attacks. It attacks. Doesn't really sound like what a Strixhaven Campus Guide would do. All right, so description of the monster in D&D. The guide's gold and silver chassis are built in shapes reminiscent of the star arches surrounding Strixhaven. Embedded in their chests are holographic maps of the university's campus, which the guides use to provide directions. And lore: with their cheerful dispositions and a knack for walking backwards, Strixhaven Campus Guides lead gaggles of prospective students on tours. It's rare for a campus guide to need its own maps, as these gregarious automatons have a gift for finding things on campus, often popping up at the most inopportune time. All right, tactics. The guide prefers to use its smile and wave action. This is a magical effect that can charm creatures for up to 1 hour. And the only time the creatures get to roll an additional saving throw against the charm is if they take damage while they are under the effects of this charm. DMs, that's a very powerful effect. Can you imagine how a more powerful version of the campus guide might use the ability to charm large numbers of people all at once and never let them have a saving throw unless they take damage? See where I'm going with this? This is a construct, of course, and constructs are made, they're not born. Some of them are programmed by their creators to follow a simple set of instructions, while others are imbued with sentience and capable of independent thought. From the way the campus guides are portrayed in the campaign, it feels like a little mix of both. All right, so let's take a look at the mechanical features of the Strixhaven Campus Guide as it's written. And this is a tier 1 foe. It's fairly good armor class, 17, 31 hit points, 7d6 plus 7, speed of 30 feet, CR 1, proficiency bonus plus 2. Stat block is is a little bit above average, I should say. Intelligence is its only flat score. Everything else is a little bit elevated, with strength and dexterity actually being its best scores. Attack bonus is plus 4, damage bonus plus 2. Its full attack are slam attacks, gets 2 of those, reach 5 feet, 1 target each slam, 1d8 plus 2 bludgeoning damage. And it is immune to poison damage and also immune to being blinded, deafened, exhausted, paralyzed, petrified, and poisoned. Now, its other special abilities are its Smile and Wave, which is an action it can take in lieu of its attack. So each creature of the guide's choice, notice that each creature of the guide's choice that's within 30 feet of the guide must succeed on a DC 11 wisdom saving throw. Now that's very low, but still. Or be magically charmed by the guide for 1 hour. Charmed target must move on its turn toward the guide, trying to get within 5 feet of the guide. The target doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground, such as a fire or a pit, and whenever a charmed target takes damage, it can repeat the saving throw, ending the effect on itself on a success. And a target that successfully saves is immune to any guide's Smile and Wave ability for the next 24 hours. It's interesting that they give this mechanically an ability to charm people. Nice. Wheels are turning, aren't they? Yeah, I see them. I see them. Okay, then it does have a bonus action. Bonus action is called Need Directions, and the guide can take the help action. So that would be an interesting case where if you ever got into a combat and you had the Strixhaven Campus guide on your side. Let's imagine a tier 2 version of the Strixhaven Campus guide. I'm just going to call this, for the sake of argument, a campus monitor. This one is still going to have AC 17. Well, now it has 119 hit points, which is 14d10 plus 42. Speed is 30 feet, CR of 9 instead of CR of 1. Proficiency bonus plus 4. Ability scores, most of them are the same. It gets a bump in Constitution up to 16, and its Charisma, importantly, gets bumped up to 16. So the attack bonus is plus 6, damage bonus is plus 2, still gets the 2 slam attacks, but now the damage on those is 2d6 plus 2. Same immunities that it had before, but now the Smile and Wave, each creature of the monitor's choice that's within 30 feet of the monitor must succeed on a DC 17 wisdom save or be magically charmed by the monitor for 1 hour. So now what we're doing is now we are making charisma sort of the uh, score that's tied to this charm ability, which seems natural. It should be. And because that is the score that's tied to it, we're going to say that it gets to add its proficiency bonus. So now the DC becomes not only the +3 from charisma, but also the +4 from the proficiency bonus. So that means the save DC is 17 instead of 11. Now that's a little bit harder to save. And it still gets its need directions bonus action. All right. Are you ready for the tier 3 version? Tier 3 version of the Strixhaven Campus Guide is the Campus Supervisor. Yeah, I came up with these names in a couple of minutes. You can come up with some better names. But I just threw out these names. So armor class now has bumped up to 19, a little bit better armor plating. 168 hit points, 16 d12 plus 64. Speed is still 30 feet. Now it's a CR 16, still proficiency bonus of +4. Some of the stats have increased a little bit. Strength has bumped up to 17. Constitution and Charisma have both bumped up to 19. So the attack bonus is +7, damage bonus is +3. Still gets the 2 slam attacks, and now those attacks do 2d8 +3 bludgeoning damage each. All the same immunities, and it's got the smile and wave action, but now, because of the increased charisma, the smile and wave DC has ticked up to 18. And the campus supervisor gets another ability, which is a recharge ability. This one is called Settle Down. And the supervisor breathes a sleep gas in a 30-foot cone. All creatures in the cone must make a DC 18 Constitution saving throw or fall into magical slumber for 1 hour. Still, it gets the need directions bonus action. So that is the tier 3 version of the Strixhaven Campus Guide. And now let's go for the epic or tier 4 version of the Strixhaven Campus Guide. This one, better armor, yet again, armor class of 21, 230 hit points, which is 20d12 plus 100. Speed is still 30 feet. Now it's a CR 22, proficiency bonus +7. The Constitution and the Charisma have both bumped up to 20. The Strength has bumped up to 18. So the attack bonus is now +11. Damage bonus is +4. The full attack, it gets 3 slam attacks now. 1 target, and each of those attacks is 2d12 +4 bludgeoning damage. All the immunities remain the same. Gets the same special actions and bonus action, but the Smile and Wave Wisdom saving throw DC is now 22. And the Settle Down recharges on a 5 or a 6. And the Campus Enforcer, which we're calling this one, the Campus Enforcer breathes sleep gas in a 30-foot cone, and everybody in the cone must make a DC 22 Constitution saving throw or fall into magical slumber for 1 hour. And that, friends, is the different variations of Strixhaven Campus Guide. So I know what you're doing. You're sitting there and you're going, well, where would I use these? How would I use these? What would I possibly want with these? And the truth is that in your campaign, these may not make any sense at all. These are kind of tossed in as sort of a humorous monster. And I think they're, in some ways, kind of added in, supposed to be a little bit comic relief, if you will. The whole thing about one of these kind of being a mechanical butler and then trying to shoo the students out of the dean's office after hours, that's a little bit of a slapstick comical type of type of encounter there. But imagine a world in which maybe your big bad is a big bad who likes to manipulate people as opposed to wanting to shed blood all the time. And as somebody who uh, wants to kind of get in and kind of twist the minds of people. Well, maybe you have a maybe there's a king. Maybe the big bad evil guy gets an audience with the king and wants to show the king this wonderful creation he's made, this automaton. So he brings a tier 4 version of the Strixhaven Campus guide, brings a campus enforcer into the Hall of the King, and then gets up near the throne, and there's all the guards and everything there, uses its smile and wave. Hey, everybody. And then the king and everybody else within 30 feet that the enforcer chooses has to make a wisdom save or be charmed for an hour. Do you know how much damage or how much change, how much influence your BBEG could get if he were able to charm the king for an hour? Get the king to believe he was his best friend and had these proposals that maybe sound logical, but there's several reasons maybe they shouldn't work. But with an hour and a well thought out presentation and the ability to sort of charm not only the king but his advisors, oh yeah, this is great. You are so smart. You're just the kind of person this kid isn't this guy the kind of person this kingdom needs? Oh yes, your majesty. Yes. Perfectly see that. You could do all kinds of crazy nonsense with that. Maybe not literally take over a kingdom that way, but going into the royal bank and charming the people there. Then an hour, get out with, oh, that big cachet of valuable jewels that was being stored in that particular safe deposit box over there. Yeah. So lots of fun things you could do. And then if you have these in the lair of your BBEG, when your party goes in to try to attack him or her, well, then they would have to deal with these and have to pass these really high wisdom saves unless they wanted to be charmed and just sort of led around. Or if they fail the con save, they fall asleep. Now, obviously, if you have elves or some other races that are immune to magical sleep, or if they have items that help them resist magical sleep, that's another thing. But there's a lot of fun you could have as a DM using these against NPCs and causing all kinds of mayhem, and then have your PCs have to figure out what the heck went on and how to put things right and what's behind it all. So these could be very, very fun toys to use in your game if you wanted to. All right. I have been DM Gallibond, and this has been Monster Monday. If you have been watching this far, thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and click the post notification bell so that you get notified every time new content drops on the channel. Now, I normally live stream 3 times a week. I'm not going to be live streaming at all this coming week. Wednesday, I have a conflict. And then here in the US, next weekend is Independence Day weekend. So Saturday game is not happening. Sunday game is not happening. People have family. People are traveling. All this kind of stuff. We're just not even going to try to have the games. So, no live streams this coming week, unfortunately. But normally, we are here on Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. with the Walker of Waterdeep, Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m., Sword Coast Chronicles, and Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. for Saturday Night Greyhawk. All those times are East Coast USA time. So your time zone will vary. You do the calculation, figure out where it is for your part of the world. All right. You can find all the live stuff over on Twitch. My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Gallibond. All of the archives of the live streams are here on YouTube, as well as all of the Monster Monday archives. And then we do have a Patreon in case anybody wants to help us make more content. We are getting very close to the end of our look at the monsters from Strixhaven. In fact, we only have 2 more monsters to go, and they both are founder dragons. Next week, we're going to take a look at Tanazir Quandrix from Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos. All right, everybody. I've been DM Gallibond. This has been Monster Monday. Good night, everybody. Watch out for the monsters under the bed. Take care.